welcome to another episode of Velocity Chaos!
Coming to you at the speed of sound, we are on the air at the Hexapod Sound House Studio in Cleveland, Ohio. My name is Nick, and I am amped up today for the 36th episode of Velocity Chaos Podcast. I am here joined by my tried and true, my one and only, Luke.
Hey, you are so amped today. Your levels are through the roof.
Did I peak?
He did not peak, because let's check in with our tried and true trusty DJ Play It Back.
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me out, guys.
Thanks for being here. Nick, what do we got going on today?
So we have a full show. This is going to be a regular for us. We got some Buzzkill right smack dab in the middle. Bookended by How Does It Do That? Going to learn a little bit of how something does that. And then we're going to go to the temple, and we're going to do some idol worship.
We're not worthy.
We're not worthy. Not worthy. Here at the Velocity Chaos Podcast, we explore the highest heights of human knowledge and the lowest depths of crude humor. Our mission is to tickle that pink thing between your ears, poke that frontal lobe, and sometimes just smash the laugh box. So hop in and buckle up for an infotainment ride across the airways.
But before we get into that, a reminder to follow us on the Instagram at Velocity Chaos Pod and on Facebook too. Also, drop us some stars on iTunes, some love on Spotify. I think you could do ratings on Spotify now, I heard. And this is like, when you're hearing this, that information is going to be pertinent like weeks ago. So, anyways, toss us a sub on the YouTubes if you're watching us on the video that you're seeing me pointing at you finger gun style. And, as always, thank you for your support to us. Let's get into it.
Great opening, everybody. Great job.
So inspirational.
I'm so excited, mostly because today, in our first segment, How Does It Do That?
How does it do it?
We're going to talk about food, but not like dishes. We're going to talk about how to make it, and we're going to talk about 3 different ways that we prep food. So today's How Does It Do That? We're going to look at 3 of the most common forms of heating up food. These are like kitchen utensils that I'm essentially going to break it down for y'all. So, you excited?
I am excited to find out how to make lukewarm food.
Then you're in the wrong segment, buddy, because this is all about piping hot food.
Oh, not room temperature.
Do you have a favorite method of heating things up, food-wise?
I usually leave it on the counter, and I cook it at about 70 degrees for an hour.
Sometimes I let the sun hit it from the window. I put it on the windowsill.
Get the hot spot, Oh, no, it's moved, so I got to shift it over.
Just a Wallace and Gromit thing that just like slowly moves it with the sunshine across.
I would say, probably microwave, but I was thinking about getting a toaster oven.
Okay.
I think that would be efficient way of...
It's funny because I'm not going to talk about toaster ovens today. I'm talking about deep fryers.
Okay.
I'm talking about air fryers.
Okay.
And I'm talking about the microwave. So we'll talk about the microwave.
Okay.
This is like in order of complexity, I feel like. So let's just open it up. And DJ, I know you get down with some hella chicken. So this is definitely going to hit you right in the sweet spot.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So step 1, the good old deep fryer, right? We're going to chat about this. It's all about superheating cooking oil to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or more. So that's
at least.
It's way above the boiling point of water. And this is actually like interesting. I didn't know how this worked. So the idea is that when you dip the food in the hot oil, that it's so hot in there, it evaporates the water that's in the outside layer. That water evaporates, and because the oil's non-soluble, the water like turns into a little bubble and gets out of there. So that's why
all the bubbly.
That's why it's all bubbly.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't know this. And so then the heat so that's why you get the nice crispy thing, because it's dehydrating that outer layer
Okay.
of whatever you're deep frying. And I didn't know that, but like, it
No.
makes a lot of sense. And meanwhile, because it's also in a hot space, it's cooking the inside into that nice, perfect.
So it
material.
kind of maybe like creates a barrier, and then
Exactly.
the inside
Yep.
moisture on the inside, then maybe that steamifies itself.
Yeah, it's like the heat, just around the heat transfer goes from the outside in, but because it's not like seeping in and penetrating
Yeah.
in. I mean, that's
Unless
why
it's too cold, your oil's too cold.
Oh, yeah,
then it gets all gross.
yeah, it's not crispy. But that's the idea, is that
Okay.
that's why if you leave something in too long, it crisps all the way through, and it's like really hard. You can't eat it because it just keeps going all the way through and
Super dehydration.
is evaporating all the water. Yeah. So that's the process. And the most successful type of deep frying is when you get that nice outer layer of crisp, and then the inside is nice and tender and properly cooked all the way through.
They are young, they are tender, they are nice.
Hopefully. Also, a little bit, fried foods in large quantities aren't healthy because the oil like kind of replaces the water in the crust, and then oil's like full of the omega-6 fatty acids.
But they make it taste so good.
I know, right? So it's worth it. It's worth it
That's
every
the
once.
problem with things that taste good,
Yeah.
like sweets and butteries, and
Butteries.
it's probably not good for you in the long run.
What would you classify as a buttery food?
Fried foods, anything
Biscottis.
cooked with butter.
Okay.
Grits. I love grits or cream
Buttery
of wheat.
foods.
Stuff
I do like buttery foods. I've never heard food described.
Me either.
So let's start our own
I
category.
don't. Yeah, I'm not. Is that a flavor? Buttery.
Buttery popcorn.
Yeah,
I see that in the store.
it's a flavoring.
Flavor.
I was thinking like salt, umami, sweet, sour, the
Yeah.
taste bud things.
Buffalo.
Buffalo, yeah,
buttery.
that's the fifth one I was missing.
Buffalo sauce.
Salty, sweet, umami, sour, and buffalo.
Perfect. Umami.
You
Is
don't-
that even real? Did you
That's
just
a
make
real
that up?
thing.
Yeah.
Umami.
Am I the only one in the room?
That's like the sixth sense of taste buds.
It sounds like a weird
No,
explanation.
I'll look it
It's
up. real quick.
relatively. While you're
Something
doing
you'd
that,
say when you like stub your toe, like umami.
that's how I remembered it. My psychology professor in college, when he was describing all the taste buds and we were going through like the neuro process of it, he was like, he listed them all and got to umami. He's like, you can remember because it tastes so good. You're like, umami. I've never done that.
Yeah.
I've tasted.
Well, that's actually, it's more of a recent one, like within the
Yes.
last 10 years.
Yes.
So it was sweet, sour, salty, and bitter. And then umami is more of like a savory.
Oh.
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
It's
and then
code
buffalo is
name.
the sixth one.
No, I think umami is just all buffalo.
Yeah, all buffalo.
Thanks for looking that up.
Yeah.
Real quick note before we jump out of deep fryers. I didn't know this, but there are 3 main types of deep fryers.
Big ones, regular, and little ones.
Big big ones, medium ones, and southern fried cooking
And
ones.
tabletop.
No, open pot. The open pot deep fryer. It's shaped kind of like a Y, and along the bottom, there's a coil that runs around the outside, and that coil heats up, and then it heats the bottom of the fryer, and that conduction is what makes the oil heat, and then it rises up and keeps like turning over. So it's like exterior of it, and
Like a revolving door of heat.
exactly. But it's a pipe that runs along the edge of it that heats up the metal, then heats up the oil. And then it's really interesting. That one's designed that the pipe is not flush with the bottom of the fryer. It's like a couple inches above it, because food particles and things that fall off the food can sink below the superheated oil to the just heated oil below it. And that's how you can pull it out and drain it. Otherwise, it stays in the superheated oil and gets burnt, and then it gives the oil bad flavor. So it's a lower shelf life of the oil. Yeah. So those open pot deep fryers are what you see mostly in in fast food stores and fast food restaurants. Then there's the tube style deep fryer where they run the coil straight through the oil. It's like inside of the fryer, and those get really hot. Apparently they're impossible to clean and just a real pain in the ass because you can't get anything down in there to scoop it out. So you can only drain it and kind of hope it all leaks
Like
out.
a one-time use.
Well, yeah. Well, no.
Not in the South, baby.
Not in the South. It's like
That's extra flavor.
it's like a cooking pan. It's like a cast iron pan. The more you cook in it, the more seasoning it gets. It's just good. So tube style deep fryer, and then finally just the flat bottom deep fryer, which is literally just a box with a heated bottom. Not as popular.
Simple.
Those are probably more comparable to like the stuff that you have at
Off
home.
the shelf
Off the
commercial.
Amateur hour.
Yeah.
Amateur hour stuff.
What does normal folk use?
So you guys, what's your favorite deep fried food?
I'd say like a pork loin, Wiener Schnitzel, Wiener Schnitzel,
Wiener Schnitzel.
something like that.
Yeah. Mama Horvat.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Oh, you know it's the chicken for me.
The
buddy.
chicken wing. The chicken wing.
No, here's my ringer though. I had deep fried Oreos at the air show one year. Got a whole bag. I was like 10 years old.
Yeah.
This dude's like, you shouldn't accept food from strangers. I was like, it's the air show. What's the worst thing that can happen?
Come into my B42
Yeah.
or 50, whatever they call
I'm
them.
in Canada, but I'm eating Oreos. It's great. Yeah, deep fried Oreos.
What'd you think of those?
It was okay. They're a little dry, but I did it myself at home, and it was the truth about it.
They're interesting.
Yeah.
I've had them before. I'm still not sold.
Not sold?
Still not
Is
sold.
it like, a salty, sweet snack?
No, it's pretty sweet.
It's pretty sweet
You
overall.
powder
It's like,
sugar
it's
the
like
outside.
fried dough.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fried dough and
Oh yeah,
Crunchy,
dude.
little
Funnel
crunchy.
cake. Forgot about that.
funnel cake's great.
Oh, yeah.
Dough
Yeah.
drops.
Whoa, you're telling me there's deep fried funnel cakes too?
Double deep fried funnel cakes.
We have deep fried funnel. What?
That sounds awesome. I'm a French fry guy.
Oh,
yeah, it's
pro
the
move.
biggest- yeah,
I'm such a sucker for French fries, man. I'll have eaten French fries for lunch, and somebody at dinner says, "You want some more French fries?" Yeah, give me the French fries.
Can't say no.
It's tough. It's tough. And I'm a connoisseur. I like the aioli dip, and I not just ketchup anymore. I'll dunk it in aioli and
You're getting fancy.
truffle fries.
Isn't aioli just a fancy word for mayonnaise?
Yeah.
with garlic. It's just mayonnaise.
all right.
Mayonnaise with garlic.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad I asked. Deep frying is awesome, but not good for your health. So moderation, folks. Moderation. Everything in balance, right? If you're gonna deep fry a French fry, you gotta deep fry, broccoli. That's what I'm saying. All balance. All right. So moving on to air fryers. So this is a little bit more of a healthy option,
Okay.
and this doesn't involve as much oil. You can typically get away with like a tablespoon of oil, mix it up of whatever you're making inside, put it in the pot and pop it in. So I had to look this up because I just got one and I use it a lot now, and it's really great. So
Ninja?
yeah. I got the Ninja. You got the Ninja one?
Yeah, I think we have that as well.
Nice.
Used it like once for
Open it
actually doing stuff, but mostly use it for toasting bread because we don't have a toaster.
So
Does not work great.
The hardest version
Yeah.
of what you could use it for, you use
Yeah,
it
it
for.
doesn't work great.
Hey, do you like broccoli?
Yeah.
I highly recommend throwing it in there for 5 minutes.
Okay.
350.
Frozen or fresh?
No, fresh.
Okay.
And it crisps it up real nice. So a little salt with the broccoli, throw it in there. Very nice. Very nice. I don't like my broccoli really soggy. I like broccoli, but I don't like it soggy. It's a great way to throw it in there. Get a crispy.
Look at this
broccoli.
guy doesn't like soggy broccoli.
Look at this guy.
What do you know?
What do you? All right. So anyway, let me break this down for you really quick.
It's aiolis.
Your broccoli, your aiolis, your weirdo. Okay, heating coil. I just wrote heating coil at the food. So essentially, when you insert it into the container, there's a heating coil right above the food pot, and it's projecting the heat downward. And so you're cooking the top of the food. Okay, so it's sinking down in. But then there's a fan right above the heating coil that's in reverse. So when it spins, it's sucking the air up through the entire container where your food pot is.
Little tornado vortex.
Exactly, tornado
They
vortex.
should call them
The air,
tornado ovens.
tornado ovens.
That'd be
tornado,
so cool.
Tornado ninja. It comes out, the hot air comes up, and then it goes out and slides down, and then comes
It
up through
cools
the bottom.
off, and then, as we know in nature, then heat rises, and then the heat it just.
No, you're
creates a
confusing
cyclone.
everybody. You're confusing me. No,
Why don't they use hair dryers and then just put like 2 hair dryers on the opposite sides, and then they'll create a vortex of heat?
invent it, man.
It'll be the
The air dryer.
hair dryer,
The hair
fryer.
The air fryer. The air fryer fruit processor. The double funnel cake food dried hair dryer fryer. No, so the hot air goes up and out the sides because the container is specially designed. It's like minimal time travel around, so the air stays hot, gets into the bottom of the container, and then is sucked in through the grate at the bottom of the food pot. And so the hot air comes up through the food, and that's why you get an even cook all the way around, rather than just
Regular
crispy on
oven.
top, soggy on the bottom. Yeah.
Why can't I just put a fan in my oven that withstand, like a metal fan, and just have
give
it
it a
start
try.
blowing heat?
I would love to see. I would love to
the whole
see.
time.
Would love to see your hillbilly oven. Totally.
Why you got a box fan in your oven?
And why is it melted to the top? Why is it dripping into our French fries?
Oh, that's nasty.
Just plastic. Ooh. Is that aioli? It's molten plastic.
What about these? What's the last one?
Yeah. So anyway, air fryers, they're great. Check them out. The last one's
Are
your
they?
good old microwave.
They're not good for toast.
Good old microwave. They're not good for toast. The good old microwave. So it's all comes down to this thing called a magnetron. I almost said Megatron, but it's. Oh, do you have to
Hey.
censor that? Is that
No, I mean, if dang,
Copyrighted?
I forgot his name, but if Megatron wants
Optimus Prime, bro?
to cook my food,
So the magnetron, I'm going to get real sciencey really fast here, okay? Just because this is the whole point of the segment. So a magnetron converts electricity from your wall outlet into a high voltage current, and the magnetron has a filament in the middle of it. And that electricity wants to escape, and it shoots photons outwardly. But because the magnetron is encased with a magnet, the polarity shoots the photon back towards the middle, and it kind of creates like this little circle. And the circle passes
the
above
tornado. That's very common.
We'll
in
go
cooking.
back to the tornado. like Luke's just like, food is cooked by tornadoes. I learned something tonight. Food is cooked by tornadoes.
That's all it is.
It's all tornadoes, microscopic tornadoes, bro.
Nature brings tornadoes.
So stick with me. So it creates these microwaves, and the microwaves get sent down a little chute into the main cavity of the microwave into your food. And here we go. Microwaves oscillate at 2.45 billion times a second. And this oscillation gets certain molecules, especially water, in your food to swap polarities back and forth while trying to align with the radioactive polarity of the wave. And because that molecule is like twitching because it's trying to align, that creates friction, which creates the heat that's in your food. That's also why in microwaves, instead of how we were talking with the deep fryer, cooking outside in, crispy on the outside, inside is nice and cooked after a period of time. That's why you got to watch your food, though. That's the microwave just cooks everything evenly, straight all the way through.
In theory. In actuality.
But here's here
Microwave a Pop-Tart.
But that's the thing, is like the filling is different. It's molten hot, where the crust doesn't get agitated because it's not as water. There's not as much water.
So you got to bring a squirt bottle, spray your food down before you put it in.
But that's why they say, have you ever heated up bread in the microwave? And they say like put like a
glass of water.
A glass of water, or on the plate a couple drops of water. It's that water like helps keep it moist rather than just a dried out husk of wheat.
Maybe I'll try the paper towel thing. But yeah, the
works.
glass of water has not worked.
Frozen bagels, you throw a little wet paper towel in there with it, works like a charm.
Okay.
But that's it. Remember, the trick is water, because otherwise you're just going to dry that shit out. So, because
Just spit on it if you don't got any water.
I personally hate the texture of microwaved food. I can't.
It does make it gross.
Soup is fine. Anything liquid you're heating up, pasta sauce, fine. Pasta, you can get away with it. Anything else, it's gross. So I tend to avoid the microwave as much as possible, and now I know why I avoid it, because it's just not doing the crispiness. It ruins all crispiness, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's why things kind of come out rubbery.
Are you a stovetop guy then? Just throw it in a pan?
Yeah, I'll stovetop it. Anyway, these are us learning about how these these countertop food heaters work, man. Now
That's
you
great.
know. Now you know why they work, how they work, and which one's the best. Clearly deep frying everything.
Yeah, deep fryer always on,
just like,
on warm.
And when people are like, hey, man, you should watch out for your health, you'd be like, man, don't tell me how to do this. Microwaves shoot 24 billion times a second. Just start.
Who was able to calculate that? Like, who's the nerd writing all those zeros?
The engineering guys at like freaking USC or whatever.
It has to be your mom. She's the one who's like, telling you, don't stand too close to the microwave, you'll melt your brainstem.
Yeah.
Turns out she was right.
So
Right.
I checked on that too. The reason why that's a myth, I mean, it is a myth. They are
want you to think.
radioactive, but photons don't have the same energy as like electrons and protons do in a radioactive form. So the photons just aren't.
No, that mesh over the plexiglass protects you.
But if we pull that out,
Yeah, so you're screwed.
Yep. So that's also why that's why like cats explode in the microwave, because you're heating everything all the way through, and that evaporation of water. You ever see like the edamame bags? That's the same thing with a cat.
No, I have not.
Be cool. Say, be cool.
Yeah, cats.
No, I have not
cats,
put a live animal in a microwave and turn it
cats,
on.
hamsters. They're the same as edamame
Explode
bags.
because they're shifting to 2 point whatever billion times a second. Their little hearts just
2.24
explode.
gigawatts.
there goes the podcast. We're getting canceled, fellas.
I'm just saying.
That makes
It's
sense.
happened by accident.
Saw that happen once.
So that leads me to my next point, which has nothing to do with cats, but it's about the stuff. The stuff has all the goods in it. That's right. It's got the goods, which means it has vitamins, minerals, natural essences, unnatural flavors. It's got it all. The stuff has been safely tested on humans, animals, and probably even aliens. The stuff is tried and true. When I'm feeling angry, tired, and melancholy, the stuff picks me right up and sends me on my way feeling better than ever. Wait, maybe those are just withdrawals. Anyhow, get 30% off your next shipment of the stuff using code VCPOD30 at checkout. You can also try microwaving this shit. This is not an actual product, service, or idea, just in case you thought it was. It's not. If there is something out there with the same name, we are unaware and have no affiliation and offer no judgment on the actual product, service, or idea. Noise.
Crikey.
That's later.
That's later.
We're just teasing.
Yeah.
Teasing it. Oh yeah, man. All right. So this is an exciting day. We finally made it official. Buzzkill is going to become an official part of our lineup as we go through our weeks, and that's very exciting to me. If you're new to Buzzkill, essentially what it is Luke and I are going to stumble through 20 minutes of randomized topic. This is Velocity Chaos at its finest, in my opinion. And
Most pure form.
it's the most pure form. We've distilled it down. We've deep fried it. We avoided the microwave.
Put a tornado on it.
We've spun it through a couple tornadoes.
Added a buzzer.
Added a buzzer. So DJ Playback is he's got a list of topics that he's going to randomize, and then he's going to randomize a timer between, what do we got, 20 seconds and 180 seconds. So Luke and I are just going to try to cover as much ground on the topic as we can.
And we don't know how
don't know.
long we get to talk about a topic.
So that means as many sound bites as we can in 20 seconds. And we'll just ping pong it back and forth. So this is one of our favorites. It's going to go down in history as one of the best. So you ready, Playback?
You guys know the rules, and when you hear the, we're gonna switch it up.
Noise.
Start you off with a big one here.
You ready?
God.
Ready.
Okay, ready for this? All right. Your topic to begin is World War II.
World War II?
That was the second of the World Wars, originally known as the World War. Oh, well, I guess it was the Great War. It was World War I, and then they were like, "Oh, this is another amazing war. Let's rename that one, and we'll dub this one World War II."
Great synopsis.
Great. That's about what
great log
happened.
line. No, World War II. I mean, how do you even cover that? That is one
So
of the
many
biggest
things.
topics.
Battle of the Bulge.
Did you have any relatives that were involved in the military conflict? I know your family comes from Middle Europe, so
Yeah, both of my grandfathers were,
wow.
in there, and
Resistance.
and then one of mine was in a concentration camp.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's intense.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
What I always forget.
Auschwitz, Birkenau. Oh.
It was like the third largest concentration camp, but it was like a work camp.
Oh,
And
Dachau,
Mauthausen, something
we'll
like
go
that.
with it. We'll go.
But so the story is that him and another guy were like in a foxhole, and then there was these like German guys walking, like an officer and like two other guys. So the plan was that they were going to jump out and like, kill him.
Yeah.
And, So my grandfather like goes through with the plan, but the other guy didn't.
Wow.
And he ends up, breaking like the officer's jaw. And the officer says like, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to make you suffer every single day, like for as long as you're here.
Holy cow.
And, so he's in the concentration camp for, however long.
Yeah. Did he make it?
Well, yeah.
Well,
That's why I'm here.
Your topic is the circus.
oh, dude. The circus, I feel like, got watered down in the last 10 years. Well, they canceled it, right?
The circus is the internet now.
That's true. That's true. The traditional form of the circus,
Yeah.
though. I mean, it was great. It was really cool. I remember it back in the day, the clown guy. They always had a themed clown who would run around for like Farnham and Bailey's. And I thought it was classic. I thought it was classic fun. I know the kids think it's stupid now, probably. And there's some animal rights stuff, but man,
Real showmanship.
it was impressive. It was impressive what they did, what they were able to.
It would not be able to exist now with,
Yeah.
everyone being PC about stuff. And, because you got the bearded ladies and stuff, and then like just the
Freak shows.
atomic little man that's strong or something. I don't know. Or
I think the two things that happened to it were like Cirque du Soleil came along and created the huge wire acts and like the big flipping and doing stuff like that. So they took the spectacle and made it more adult and like artistic. And then I think the other thing was a lot of times just the bad rap that they got with like the elephants and a lot of conservation groups and things like that.
Yeah,
Which is tough because when I was growing up and I saw those animals, I thought about those animals and I was wondering about them, right? And so I'd go learn about them. And then I think if you take that experience away from kids or they're just watching videos of them, it's not as real and tactile in front of them. Because for kids under a certain age, they'd let you walk around on the floor before the show and you could see some of the animals up close. I don't know. I just think it's maybe I'm lamenting a part of my youth that's gone.
I want circus.
I want the circus.
I want rings of fire and jumping through with tigers.
That was also where I learned about the unfairness of like arena attendance. I'd see the kid next to me have the giant slushie, and I'm like, "Dad, can I have that?" And my dad's like, "That costs $15, son. No."
Shut up.
Shut up.
Watch the elephant.
And then he's like, "It's just ice with like sugar in it." Yeah, but I want it. Yeah, but it's $15.
Got your dad on that.
Your subject is billboards.
Billboards. We should buy a billboard. How much do they cost? And put it up.
They're one of the smartest passive incomes. They gotta be.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll put it up. Velocity Chaos Podcast right on I-90.
If you own it, I mean, if you're paying for it, then it's not passive income. It's passive loss. It's passive loss.
Oh, you're saying we're not getting the ad revenue or the revenue?
Do you think you could advertise a podcast on a billboard?
See why not? You can podcast anything. You can podcast yourself.
Would you go straight up and like listen to Velocity Cast podcast, or would you do one of those cool hashtags where it's mysterious,
Like save the whales?
or like listen up Jenny or something like that, where you would look up the hashtag and then it would lead you to like the marketing.
A rabbit hole.
Yeah. What would you do? Would you make it a cool thing, or would you just straight up?
Well, now that you called it a cool thing, I have to go with that. But I was just thinking, it's just like, we got us on there, and then it's just me basically, though. But, like it's always sunny with two chicks with huge knockers, and
it's like one of those 3D billboards, and your arm is like, you know how they like have things like sticking off the billboard.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm buying this. You call the guy, you're like, I'm buying this. Put it on there and leave it there forever.
Just leave it.
And 20 years from now, like your fingers like broken off. Just
Graffiti.
Your teeth are like blacked out. Like Tim Misny, I think around here is the king of billboards.
He is.
And I know wherever you are, listeners wise, every city has one. Every city has a Tim Misny, that lawyer who's just on 25 different billboards. It's just him and his catch slogan. He's either doing one of these pointing at the camera, he's got the eyebrow raised, or he's got the classic arm cross, like I'm gonna mess you up in court.
Yeah. Does he ever go to court, or does he just do the commercials at this point?
I think he's just like a ringleader at this point, taking it back to the circus.
Brilliant.
Yeah. He's got all the other little lawyers running around doing his thing.
Your topic is astrology.
What are you?
Yeah.
Oh, we're both Scorpios.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but what's your moon sign?
Not good podcast partners.
We're yeah. All right, next. No, yeah, we got but then you got the it's the sun sign, the moon sign, and then the in between
I don't
or
even
the
know about
rising.
that.
There's
that?
like a whole thing.
Like when you were born in the day?
Yeah, there's like a time. So it's like
I think I was born at like 3 p.m.
3 p.m.
So what would I be? Afternoon sun?
I don't know. You got to look it up, like where you're born on the planet, like at what time, and you have like I forgot what, but I'm like a Gemini rising Scorpio something else.
Oh,
like,
so you could be combos.
yeah. So it's like you have 3 different things to piece together.
Your subject is the big game, aka the Super Bowl.
The superb owl.
The big game. Pause. I was like, the big
Just
game.
lost the
You never
game.
know.
Dating. Like the
They're
big
always
game.
watching, man. They're always listening to you.
The Super Bowl, man. I love the Super Bowl, but the like commercials are going downhill. Like somebody's got to take a step up. Somebody's got to take a brave move and just do something wild because it's getting really lame. When you start seeing commercials that you saw the week before the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, who
your
wants
dark
to pay
times.
$15 million to put out an ad for the Super Bowl?
Yeah. Well, I guess it's not worth it. They think they can just go viral on the internet now. So.
Yeah, it's not. It is not. Correct. It is not worth it to pay for a Super Bowl ad when you can just with social media and influencers and with how much traffic that they generate. The superb owl is no longer.
Yeah. The super. You're like, what did I just say? The superb owl. The one thing that I think could be the bastion for commercials during the Super Bowl is interactive ones. That one.
Did you see the QR code?
That's
one?
what I'm talking about. The QR
Did you hear
code,
what happened?
It like crashed their site
Yeah.
and everything. But that's what I'm saying. If you could be ready for it.
How could you not be like? What were you thinking? Yeah, maybe like 10 people will do it. No worries.
Like the one guy in the back of the room, it's just like they were drawing straws to see whose idea they would do it. And they're like, "Oh, Jerry won. Jerry, you won." He's
Woo, the QR code. Woo!
and everyone's like, you know what? And like everyone's whispering, like, "Hey, Jerry's idea is stupid. Like, just put it up there. Let him have it this way, so he doesn't call HR, and just let it happen. But don't put any time. Don't put any money into it. Just put it up."
And we got to make sure it never hits one of the corners. It's just bouncing.
Jerry's like, "Can you change colors? Can it change colors?" They're like, "Fine, for whatever." And then they just throw it up there. There's a billion hits.
Yeah.
And the CEO is just like, "Where's Jerry?" And Jerry's just it's like trying to code so it like fixes it. He's also the guy who
Yeah. But how about them Rams? Congrats. Spoiler alert if you're listening to this, 5 weeks after the Super Bowl.
didn't know.
Oh, question here. Are the Rams better without Odell Beckham Jr.? Because they won with him going down.
That can't even be Buzzkill. That's like 20 minutes of discussion right there.
No, I feel bad. That sucks to get injured again.
I do feel bad, but he did what he needed to do. He scored a touchdown.
Scored
a touchdown.
Awesome for him.
They probably would have won more handedly if he was on.
Oh, for sure.
Because he was huge at drawing attention from Cooper Kupp. So
either one of them.
better with.
Yeah, they
better
both
with.
get open.
Better with. Absolutely better
Yeah,
with.
of course. Undoubtedly.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
Your topic is fortune tellers.
You ever get your fortune read?
No.
Me either.
Let's do it now.
They're mumbo jumbo. Give me your hands.
You're a Scorpio, double rising. You're like, I know, we talked about this on my podcast. Fortune tellers are funny because I think it's a really interesting ability. I think it's a social priming ability where you can say a lot without having to say anything.
Yeah.
Politicians are great fortune tellers.
Yeah, they are.
They wave their hands a lot. They look at the crystal teleprompter and they just say things that make us all want to believe in what they're saying. Oh yeah,
He's right. The
but-
weather will change in the future. What? Oh my God! Yesterday was warmer than today. He was right, but only for a little, because then it was colder in the morning. But he was still right.
You're going to have a paycheck come in soon.
Yeah, what? Friday, as soon as bank account, it's right there. He was so right.
The one interesting thing I like about fortune tellers, like tarot cards, that I like is that there is that theory down into the quantum science of the brain where my favorite quantum theory of like brain science is that it's so microscopic, the way that electricity shifts between neurons, that it can like literally pick up signals from other realities or other versions of yourself in those realities, because that's crazy but could work potentially or whatever. And so when you do like tarot cards, they can like bring on certain meaning for you in your life at that moment, but that activates like that portion of your neurons in your brain that gets like clicked with the other version of you in a different reality.
Miss Cleo, yeah.
There, you summed it up way
Gotcha.
better than I did.
Your topic is oral sex.
Yes.
Oh my God, this is a family show.
Is it? I mean, this
No, it's
oral
Is it
sex is
really?
part of real life. Oral sex is a real part of real life.
It is.
I love it.
That's your thing, man.
Don't like to give it though.
You don't eat.
I'm a master at giving it. You don't eat. You don't eat. No, don't do it. Luke's got to respond to this. Luke's got to
What?
respond to this. I said something about it.
You
gotta
did.
respond to
Fellatio.
it. Fellatio hornblower. He got
No.
that. He got it. How did he get that? You didn't get that. He doesn't read. I'm just kidding.
I don't read
DJ's
either.
very
I'm not
intelligent.
a-
Sorry.
Sure, I don't read.
DJ playback. DJ playback. No, dude.
No.
Oral sex, man.
It is. It is what it is. It's
OS,
it's part of I guess foreplay most of the time.
Foreplay. It can be all the play sometimes. No, dude. It's
The most awkward moments.
Are you
of
good at
this.
it? Are you good at it?
I'm the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep me down.
Do you think having facial hair helps? I've been thinking about that a lot.
Possibly.
I'm gonna do the rest of this segment.
Just
looking at you straight
dead
eye.
eyes. You
dead-
guys don't exist. DJ Play It Back doesn't exist.
Man to man, man to man.
We're gonna
right now.
talk about oral
Man to
sex
man.
together. Nothing
Man
else
to man, right
matters.
Here we go.
Yes,
Okay. Facial hair helps. Yes. Or
I think it does.
okay.
I think there adds a factor of
Little tickle. me
little
some.
tickle, little roughness at times, but a little rough's not always bad.
Great. Good. I have concerns sometimes. Like it gets really rough. Have you ever busted your lip doing it?
No, no, you
Okay.
got to power through.
So just
it's,
me.
It's not always.
What's our next topic?
Your next topic is cornhole.
All right, right here.
Okay.
They don't exist. DJ Play It Back doesn't exist. Cornhole. You got your corn in the hole.
Shove it in
I guess there's a rule if you
from
make
12 feet out.
if you make all four of your first corn bags,
You automatically win?
you win.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, I think
Are those
But
regulations?
that's like regulation, but like if the other person does it too, then
Keep going.
yeah,
Cancels out.
yeah. I think,
There you go.
but yeah,
I
no.
like that rule. I'd take that rule.
Yeah, I mean, have you been watching any of those like cornhole championships?
I watched the 4th of July weekend tournament.
Yeah,
I've started watching that every year. It's great.
It's been big since the shutdowns
It's a great
because
socially distanced sport.
yeah, because Bob and Jerry can be over there, and Marley and Sue can be over here, and
Yeah.
just chucking cornhole bags.
I think it's one of the best. It is the best backyard sports. I know that recently a lot of people have started introducing different sports to the market. Ones where you like throw blocks and I'm just like bocce and cornhole.
What about horseshoes?
I've never been good at horseshoes. Are you good at horseshoes?
I don't think anyone's good at horseshoes. It's dangerous. Like lawn darts and like
Oh,
that's illegal.
Is that
to
the
have
one-
lawn darts?
really?
Yeah.
Is that the one you throw it in the air and it comes down into the
Yeah,
target?
it's like an actual dart.
But
and
why is it illegal?
Because there's like they're like darts that you could just fling up in the air, and then Uncle Morton's just over there having a hot dog
just sunning
and getting
himself.
dart in the side of his head.
But it's illegal.
It is. They made it illegal.
I'm gonna pound the table. I think that's an infringement on rights.
on infringement on safety.
What if you can't control lawn darts? Like if you can't monitor that, that's on you. That's on you.
It is.
But it's a sport. Why? That's censorship. That's. I don't know if I can get down with that, man. That seems a little sketchy. It's not like it's a switchblade. It's a I mean, I could throw a horseshoe at your head. It's the same problem.
Yeah, it's true.
Just
But I
'cause
mean,
it's not sharp doesn't mean that. Like,
yeah, but
it's not
you're less
dangerous.
likely because a horseshoe's heavier, so it's like your kid's not going to be able to.
So is that where this all
willy-nilly,
came from? A bunch of kids throwing them in the air.
I think just anyone. You know, it's just as
Were they throwing them at people?
possibly, but I mean, it's a lot.
Your topic is scuba diving.
Scuba dooba.
You ever been a scuba diver?
Never been a scuba diver.
All right, they don't exist. DJ, play it back. Doesn't he? You like to snorkel?
I like snorkeling.
You like to go down
I like to
deep
go way
under.
down deep,
under the water?
blow out the bubbles.
Oh yeah,
You know,
shipwreck,
yeah, shipwreck.
exploring,
Go
all
right
down
in the
in the
crevasse,
cove,
right?
in the cave.
Down in the cave,
Yeah.
crevasse.
I don't know if I
Got that rebreather.
yeah, I don't know if I could do it. Like actual
Really?
scuba diving. I don't know. It's freaky.
What about like real shallow, like 15
Maybe.
feet?
Your topic
Never
is
know.
carnivals or county fairs.
Did you ever see that video of the one where it's like rotating and it starts rocking? The ride is one of those levels. Everyone's on the same level and it's doing this. And it's spinning and it starts rocking forward and backward. And there's people on the ride and 20 dudes, just pedestrians. One guy sees it happening. He jumps on the railing just to put his body weight on it. And then other people see him do it and they're like, we're going to help. And they all jump on. 25 people like jump on the front of the ride to stabilize it and save probably 20 people that were on the ride. It was crazy. It was scary. I like them because you kind of have that bit of fear factor. I could potentially die on this.
Yeah, some carny just put this together in 3 hours.
Well, when you go to Cedar Point or a roller coaster park, they strap you in there. They're all business. All right, get in, strap you down, pull the lever, do the thing, check. Everybody's still holding up their thumbs. The guy on the button thing is like, we're good. Everybody enjoy your ride, have fun. And you go off and you're solid, you're secure. There, it's, hey, put this rubber band over there on that hook. Okay, and then like hand it to me, pull it across your chest. All right, boom, you're good.
Good.
See this bubble gum? Can you sit on that?
Yeah.
There, you're in.
Yeah, I don't trust it. And then they're just like wacky rides that try to make you throw up.
Yeah. This
I guess they're for kids.
just say this is the bar funnel.
And what about the giant slide too, though? That that's sure to peel your skin off.
Yeah, yeah. Everything is designed to harm you. The one thing I've always wanted to do and I've never found it is a really good hall of mirrors. Or like they have those obstacle course ones. I've always wanted to go in a good hall of mirrors or a good kind of animatronic. I love animatronic rides. Definitely admitting it.
Yeah. No, I don't think I've ever been in a hall of mirrors. Or like if I was very young.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would be cool just to see how it would be to navigate that.
All the best movie scenes happen.
I was just gonna say like
hall of mirrors.
movie scenes and shows. How do you get the camera in there without seeing yourself?
You like shift it over 2 inches. Damn it. Shift it back over 3 inches. Shit.
All right, we're gonna put the camera here, facing here. So you got to stand here. No, you have to stand here. No, wait.
I don't see it when I put the lens cap on it.
Oh no! You know what that reminds me of? Like it's like brilliant. It's so brilliant. It reminded me of new game that we've been testing for that brilliant indie game studio downstairs. The new game is totally great and has everything you could want from the new RR technology. That's right. Real reality gaming we're talking about here. It's amazing. You literally feel everything happening in game because it's happening to you in reality while you play the new game. I do not recommend getting shot in the first-person shooter section, but the romantic cutscenes, oral sex are a blast. Head over to your preferred video game storefront today and use code VCPodTestRun to get the first season beta pass free. This is not an actual product, service, or idea. Just in case you thought it was, it's not. If there is something out there with the same name, we are unaware and have no affiliation and offer no judgment on the actual product, service, or idea. Boom. We tie it.
Boom. I love that.
We bring things back full circle. And you know what? That makes me want to do one of these. Throw out the devil horns. You guys familiar with the devil horns?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone knows devil horns.
Yeah.
Jack Black invented this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Jack Black,
Jack
School
Black.
of Rock.
Yeah, exactly. In the School of Rock, 2001 or whatever.
On the cover. He's on the cover.
Yeah, I
doing
think
it.
he was the first one ever. No, this section is called idol worship, and if you're watching on the YouTubes or wherever this video is available, you can see the Malocchio is what it's called. I want to worship Ronald James Padavona, maybe I don't know. Padavona, or as anyone would know him, Ronnie James Dio. Or as people know him, Dio. The rock god. The
Is that
man.
what Dio, isn't that what Dio means?
Dio means God in
Okay.
Italian.
Got it.
He's there.
Now
It's all
I got it.
coming
I
together.
got it.
He's there. No, so he got his name. He takes people inspire. You got to take what from inspires you and add your little twist on it. So around the time in the 60s, like 50s, there was a mobster, Giovanni Ignazio Dioguardi, who went by the name Johnny Dio. And then, so since 1961, his band, sorry.
You get emotional.
Yeah.
You get emotional about
This is really
Dio.
important to me.
I know how much you love Dio.
I
so
love
take your
Dio.
time. Take a
But
breathe.
1961, he used the moniker, Ronnie Dio and the Prophets on their second album. So ever since then, he's been referred to as either Ronnie James Dio or like just Dio.
Got it.
So God, but he, inversely, he sings all about hell and Satan and stuff. So I think that's awesome. And, he's got the devil horns, which people like. So there are some people who say that Gene Simmons was the proprietor of the devil horns.
Oh.
Mainly just Gene Simmons. Everyone else thinks it says Ronnie James Dio was the one who was the propagator of the devil horns. So when asked why he brought it into rock, he said his grandma actually showed it to him. Italian grandma, they're so superstitious. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Italian grandmas. Very superstitious.
Intimately.
Yes. And then thinking about it when I was doing a little research on like the origins of this in rock and roll and hearing the grandma story. So it's to ward off evils or like the evil eye. It's the Il Malocchio. And so you put the horns out facing your knuckles towards you and you point at it. And that's actually something that my grandma taught me is, when a black cat crosses your path, you do this and you're supposed to spit 3 times like and then that's supposed to like cancel out the bad luck of the cat.
Bad mojo.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me that.
Yeah.
That's
so,
good. You got that playback?
Yeah.
Yeah. So cat crossing your path, the Il Malocchio horns 3 times, and you're safe.
Good to know.
Good to know. Yeah.
Good fortunes.
That happens to me a lot in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
A lot of little birdies and mice to eat, and it's just like, oh, that one's speckled. That's a tomcat. Oh, black cat.
Yeah. I would say I'm not superstitious, but then I find myself doing stuff to prevent like things like knocking on I always knock on wood, like spill the salt, take it, throw it over the shoulder.
You're not superstitious. You're a little stitious.
Little stitches.
Little
Yeah.
stitches.
Regular stitches. Who do you guys know from Black Sabbath?
Osborne.
Osborne, okay. Some might say Osborne was the singer of Black Sabbath.
Some might say.
Yeah, well, he was the original, but
Yeah.
Ronnie James Dio filled in.
After he left.
Yeah, so it was like 10 years with
Really?
Ozzy, and then he was, off his rocker.
Yeah,
And
because
Was he ever on his rocker?
possibly not.
he was like Magic Lantern originally. It was like a really folky kind of, more like a Fleetwood Mac.
Mm,
And then he went into Black Sabbath, I remember. And then he was
got
out.
crazy.
Because then it was Ozzy Osbourne, his own thing.
Yeah.
So then Dio stepped in.
Yeah, in the 80s, like early 80s, Dio stepped in.
Wow.
Tony Iommi,
Tony Iommi,
he's the guitarist, and I think he's like the only member to be in Black Sabbath. I feel like Tony Iommi is Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Like he was the only one from start to current to be in Black Sabbath the whole time.
Yeah.
And then there was like issues with them doing like tours and stuff, and people wanting the Black Sabbath name, and Tony Iommi's like, dude, I've been in this the whole time. Like.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, you have no claim.
What do you do? I've been here the whole time.
I think something with Ozzy back and whatever. But anywho, so Dio, this is about Dio because Dio's, I think he's one of the best metal singers, actually of like one of the best singers, rock and roll, like of all time. He enunciates. He has like a clearness but also like a grittiness that he brings into his music, and it's just like kind of operatic in a ways too. And I'm a Dungeons and Dragons player, so a lot of like the lyrics are Dungeons and Dragons inspired. So it's like that's just something I guess I connect with, and kind of these epic ballads or like stories and fairy tales. Like I think that's I guess that's part of metal in a way.
Yeah, I have a question for you on that.
Yeah,
because I do like what you were saying, and I'm kind of seeing a pattern here that I like. You were talking about your grandma with the what's it called? Il Malocchio and the black cat. You find yourself doing it even though you're just a little stitious. But it is cool how those concepts seep into your personality, and then you carry them on. Maybe you teach your kids about them, or your grandkids or whatever. And it kind of keeps like the idea of a spiritual world alive, which is cool. And I think what Dio is getting into is also cool by telling stories and narratives and myths through his music. And I think it's a lost art form. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people now don't really care about building worlds or stories in what they do. It's more just about their commentary and what's happening around them.
Yeah.
And so if you look at Dio, he's building mythology through his music, which I like, and just covering maybe like thematic things in his lyrics. But I do like how his stories are like narrative. Like, what's that song? The Hall of the Red King. You ever hear that song? By in the hall of the
sounds familiar.
Dude, that thing is like one of the craziest ballads of all time. Anyway, I just like what you're saying. I like what you're throwing down. I wonder what would happen if people started doing that in hip hop. Like, what if they started rapping
like a story?
Yeah, a story, but like a mythical story in hip hop. Like that could be really cool.
Bunch of nerds, what they are. But there's been a huge like surgence in Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop RPGs, role-playing games, like more recently. So I think that's kind of becoming more mainstream of a activity to do.
That's like as a result of metal music, or just like that's just general?
I think that's just general now. Like I don't want to say with the pandemic because I don't like to talk about it, but I think with everyone being separated, like online games and just ways to connect with people, role-playing games kind of became a place for people to connect a lot more. So I think over the last few years, that's been, more of a connecting thing.
The Hall of the Crimson King, that's the song. I just want to put it
That's okay. That makes,
by King Crimson. But it's a crazy song. It's like the lyrics, are super huge and heavy with just like, it's like a whole story. It's amazing. Anyway.
Yeah. And like, I'll get into some of his lyrics that just when I hear him, like I get like shivers and like, goosebumps and something. So like, in one of my favorite songs, Last in Line, it's like, we're off to the witch. We may never, never, never come home, but the magic that we'll feel is worth a lifetime. So
Whoa.
it's like, that's deep. Like we're going off on this quest that, we might not, live to tell about it, but this is going to be so impactful.
That's awesome.
So badass.
Yeah. And then like later on, he's like, we search for the truth. We could die upon the tooth, but the thrill of the chase, of just the chase, is worth the pain. So that's like kind of the same thing, just different words.
Wow.
But like, it's just, I don't know. It just gets to you. Yeah. These epic ballads.
I want to go fight something right now.
And then Holy Diver, like here's a couple, ride the tiger. You could see his stripes, but he's clean. Mm. And then later on he comes and says, jump on the tiger. You can feel his heart, but he's mean.
Wow.
It's like, fuck.
Well, it's poetry, man.
It is.
They're trying to take ideas and juxtapose them against each other. It's like when I see paintings from like the old oil paintings from Lord of the Rings when they did those in like the 80s where they'd paint the fantasy paintings. There's something so nostalgic and rich about those where they seem almost out of time and space. And those lyrics make me feel the same way.
Yeah.
Like they don't belong to any particular era. And if you didn't tell me they were part of a rock song, I'd be like, oh, is that a poem or something from some time? But the fact that it's part of a rock song is awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean is that a lot of songs these days are just not narratively driven. They're just rhythm and pop driven to deliver just something in the background or a theme to whatever you're doing rather than a focus of a story.
That's why I think he wasn't as popular. Like, I think if people heard him, like, wow, that guy has an amazing voice. Like, I love it. But like hearing his lyrics, they're not, pop culture, right up in your face like some of these other rock songs, like pour some sugar on me, baby. Like people aren't dancing to Holy Diver, in the same way. But I think that's a reason. Like I like the music, but it's not mainstream. So I think that's why he's not as recognized as widely. But to me, he's still. I just want to get into a couple more things before we move on.
Yeah.
So, he was in the bands Elf, Rainbow, Black Sabbath. Then he went and created his own band Dio, and then he came back to Black Sabbath and as a reunion tour. But they made their band Heaven and Hell. That's one of the albums that they released earlier on because that's kind of when they were having that Black Sabbath, like, hey, the name. So, but then, so as far as like a metal frontman, he placed 5th on the all-time list of like frontmen. Wow. Only behind who's number 1?
Mick Jagger.
Close. But no. Freddie Mercury number 1.
Okay. Yeah.
And then Bruce Dickinson of Iron Maiden. That was my first like concert ever, and that was awesome.
Wow.
Robert Plant of Led Zeppelin.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And then Rob Halford of Judas Priest. Like all iconic, frontmen.
Wow.
And then Dio, who I feel like a lot of people, they know him, but like don't know him.
It's not like the first pick off the top of your head, but it should be.
Yeah, it should be. And Ozzy was like 8th or 10th or something. Like, and Ozzy's more well known.
What are the metrics on that list? Like, how do you?
It's loudwire.com.
Oh,
so I don't know if it was like opinions or
presence,
like
performance.
Polls.
Yeah,
I think it's like presence and like Freddie Mercury, obviously voice and stage presence, like through like you can't rate it any higher.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree.
I don't think anyone like you could argue like he shouldn't be number 1, but I don't think anyone would.
I can't think of anybody. I mean, it's hard with so many great performers out there, but I just can't. I can't justify anybody above him.
Yeah, like all these guys like they have the it factor, like everything. Like you could say Ozzy's has a better stage presence than Dio, but Dio's voice just is so far beyond.
Technically better. Yeah. Well, Freddie had it all.
Yeah. And then the last thing, how I got into Dio. So Tenacious D, one of my favorite, bands. Even though might think they're a joke, but I think they're great.
They jam.
They do.
Yeah, dude. They rip on acoustic.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's how I got into acoustic rock. Dio or Tenacious D. But they wrote a song called Dio, like aspired to him, and then he was part of their Tenacious D in the Pick of Destiny movie.
Oh wow.
And he sang like a part in one of their songs. And then for one of my birthdays back in high school, when people burned CDs, my buddy, he burned me a Dio CD.
That's bad.
Oh yeah.
Kids today probably don't know what burning CDs.
CDs
are.
Yeah, or what CDs
what
are.
Is a CD? Isn't that an investment property? Like no.
Like a goofy Sharpie marker name, like Dio Badass.
Yeah,
bitch.
it was, and he drew a dragon on it. I probably still have it somewhere.
There's always like a random song on there from like Jonas Brothers. Like, were they even
just
around?
just to
that
freak
one.
you out.
Yeah.
Just to freak you out. Oh man, Dio, I'm gonna go listen to some of his stuff, man.
Yeah.
But what I like to do is I like to listen to whole albums, and I'm sure that with some Dio stuff that especially in his solo tour that he was going from front to back with like. Do you think any of his albums have like a theme all the way through? Or
I'm sure they all.
I'd like to do that because maybe he's just telling one big story with a bunch of little stories.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I'll check that out.
But thanks for letting me, talk about our Lord and Savior, Dio. May he ever rock in peace.
Say it again. What is this called?
Il Malocchio.
Il Malocchio. The Il Malocchio.
You look after your mates, and your mates will always look after you. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, man. We're all mates here. It's time for Australian news. Bum, 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 bum. All right. This is the segment where we check in with our pals down under on the other side of the earth. That actually pertains to this article. So I found a handy guide to Australia's autumn racing carnival. And I was reading this and I said, this was published in January. How does that make sense? Are they preparing us just way in advance for the autumn?
Always be ready.
And then I realized that their seasons are flipped to ours.
Oh, right.
So we're heading into their autumn and our spring. And it all made sense from there. Anyway, they call it the series of, apparently racehorsing is massive. They list it as the third most popular sport in Australia behind Australian football and rugby. And they break it up into 4 different seasons of racing, and they're all called carnivals. So it's the winter carnival, the autumn carnival, the summer carnival, the spring carnival. Not in that order, but you get the picture. But anyhow, horse betting is legal like nationally there, and it's a really big deal. And it's a lot of fun. Apparently, it draws a massive amounts of tourism there. A lot of horses from all over the world will race in these races, and some of the purses are pretty high standards. I'd say for Australians, it's like 4 million Australian, which is probably like $1 million USD.
Oh yeah, there's pocket change.
The conversion is not great. But anyway, good for winners. Good for winners out there. Anyway, I just wanted to read you some of the names of these. Some of them are pretty straightforward, like the Melbourne Autumn Racing Carnival.
Sounds legit.
Yeah, the Blue Diamond Stakes, 1,200 meter race, Group 1 thoroughbred. The Australian Guineas, 1,600 meter race. The purse is $1 million Australian. The Newmarket Handicap. This is the 1,200 meter race. It's open class.
So we could join.
We could join. We could
It's
run.
open. Anyone
We
can
could run.
join it.
The All-Star Mile. This is in Adelaide. Here's some of the ones from there. The Robert Sangster States. The Australian Oak States. It's one of the most classic horse racing events in history, I guess, of all time. The Australian
history of all time.
In history of all time now and into the future. South Australian Derby, the Goodwood Sprint.
Nice.
That's me on the weekends, baby. Sydney, this is the stuff in Sydney. Expressway Stakes, Eskimo Prince Stakes, Apollo Stakes, Hobartville Stakes, Chipping Norton Stakes, Randwick Guineas, the Coolmore Classic, the Golden Slipper Stakes, the Tancred Stakes, the Doncaster Mile, Queen Elizabeth Stakes, and the All-Aged Stakes.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of steaks.
Don't forget about Trump steaks.
Oh,
Horse Stakes.
Yeah, is this a cooking affair?
That'd be
or-
so funny if he's like they race. The winner is in the laurels getting the things draped over the horse, and then you just hear a BAM! And then on your way out into the parking lot, there's just like a food truck.
All right, good. Get your Goodwood steaks. Come on, everyone, while they're hot.
They're just absurdly large. Yeah. This is really gamey.
Tastes like defeat.
So, anyway, this is actually something fun. If I ever go to Australia, I'm going to definitely look up which carnival we're in, which season we're in, and I'm going to go find one of these and go to these. I'm going to go check it out. It could be fun. Might be a letdown. Who knows? But, yeah, for any of you horse lovers out there, and you race lovers out there, and if you steak lovers out there, go check out the Australian racing carnivals.
You know, girls who love horses really love horses.
They like to ride.
No, like, you ever met like a crazy horse girl?
Yeah.
Like, they're so into horses.
True.
It's But I guess when you got to be taking care of it,
Yeah.
like there is a big responsibility. But I'm just saying, like, just they're just so into horses. I'm just,
They're everywhere.
You're right. We're not
Yeah.
going to argue with
Yeah,
you, but I don't see how. No, you're right. You're
Anywho.
right. No, I love it. I love it.
No, but in life, when you want to, sometimes you want to just sit down, have a meal, and you look back like, oh, how am I gonna cook this thing? Am I throwing it in the air fryer? Like, oh no, it's gonna create a little tornado. I can't have that. So then you take it out, you pop it in the oil. Oil's up 450 degrees. We can convert that over to centigrade. That's at least 1,000,000 Australian degrees. I don't know. Who knows? We don't know. No one knows. It's impossible to know when you're going down under. And, the things that can happen, fortune teller can't tell you what's going to happen when you're going down under and you're scuba diving and you're checking things out and, things get a little rough, things get a little hairy and it's, like, wow, is that a Super Bowl that I'm finding? It could be. I don't know what it might be. And then, is this hell or is this heaven and hell? And you're like, Dio, what's going on down here? And the only way to go is down, Dio says, because you got to go down on it. And that's just what life is. And maybe you maybe check out the Blue Diamond every once in a while. Check out what steaks they're serving up to you. Is it the good wood? Hopefully it is the good wood that you're getting going down. Because, he doesn't exist. DJ Playback doesn't exist. Just you and me right now. We exist. And that's the way it is. All right. Well,
Nailed it.
thank you guys for being here. What I'm going to do for Recommendation Station, I can't do anything other than recommend. Go listen to some Dio. Go find some Dio songs. Go listen to an album if you want. I'll give you some songs right here. My favorite would have to be Last in Line. If you want to check out some other ones, you got Holy Diver, iconic, Rainbow in the Dark, Heaven and Hell. I think that was Heaven and Hell was part of the Black Sabbath, Neon Nights, the Mob Rules. I think those were also Black Sabbath era. Man on the Silver Mountain. Go check them out. Get some good Dio songs in your life.
I'm way more familiar with Dio than I thought.
Yes, that's
is good.
When these we played a rock band a few weeks ago, and I was like, "Oh, let's get some Dio," and they were both like, DJ Playback and Nick were like, "Who's Dio?" I'm like, "We're playing Dio."
Oh, I know Dio. Like
Now
that, you
you
know. Dio's one of those guys. He's omnipresent.
Yeah.
He's just omnipresent.
Like I say, people know him, but they don't know him. But they don't know that they know him.
Just like Jesus.
Yep.
So, go get you some Dio up in you and go to the house of worship, the Rock House of Worship. Don't forget, 3 at the Black Cats.
Oh, it's Il Malocchio. I would say Malocchio. Malocchio. So Mal is bad. Occhio is eye. It's evil eye.
What?
Malocchio.
Il Malocchio. Il Malocchio.
We'll retcon that.
We're going to have to go redo the whole segment. Anyway, guys, thank you for coming and joining us with the Velocity KS Podcast 36th episode. It has been a blast. Much thanks, many thanks to our DJ Play It Back.
Yeah, boys, thanks for having me out. It was a good one.
You get down with the oral?
Oh, I get down on some Dio.
Awesome.
You scuba diver?
You scuba diver? You a holy diver? You go to church on Sundays. Anyway, thank you, everybody. We love you so much. Thank you for your support. Swing it over to you, Luke.
Thank you guys again for being here this week. If you haven't been, welcome for the first time. And if it's your last time, see you later. But we're hoping to see you back because we're going to be back. And, like we always say, when you're getting ready to go down, make sure you got your Dio coming with you. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one. Thank you for tuning in to the Velocity Chaos Podcast. We upload new episodes every Monday and Thursday. Be sure to subscribe and rate us on iTunes, Spotify, or your podcast platform of choice. Interact with us on Instagram at Velocity Chaos Pod or on Facebook and YouTube at Velocity Chaos Podcast. We are grateful for your time and hope you enjoyed it here. Please tell a friend, and thank you once again.